Hello everyone. This video is going to be an introduction to the Tangram indicator. It's my latest indicator, which I have launched today on the market. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is, and then I'm going to show you how it works so you could benefit the most from it. So first of all, I'm going to launch it on the chart. Okay, this is the default settings. Okay, so first I'm going to go through what it is. So what is the Tangram indicator? Well, mainly it's an amalgam of 7 different oscillators. Okay, so oscillators like RSI, like CCI, and so on. The calculations are done by normalizing all 7 values of the 7 different oscillators. And then I calculate an average value and I create a compounded oscillator, okay? And then what the indicator does is it detects several things on the compounded oscillator, which traders find beneficial and which traders use to trade. So among these things are 3 different types of data that the Tangram indicator shows. So the first type of signal is the colored bars. So as you see here, we have green bars and we have red bars. And as it is obvious, the green bars are for bullish trends, while the red bars are for bearish trends. Okay, so this of course depends on the settings of the indicator, but now we're looking at it through the default settings, and which is the period 60, as you see here. So the colored bars, they indicate the overall direction of the trend. It looks at when the compound score of the indicators is above or below the average score. And then the green lines indicate the uptrend, and the red lines, the red bars indicate the downtrend. Okay, so now the second type of data that we see here are the circles that you see here. These circles are overbought and oversold circles, and they indicate that the compounded oscillator is above or below the level you choose in the settings. So here the level is 60, and whenever the price, or not the price actually, the oscillator is above 60, we get overbought signals here, signified by the blue circles. And if the value goes below 40, because when we set our level to 60, it's the symmetrical equivalent of it that indicates the oversold area, which is 40. Okay, so to 60 we have 40. If we set it to 70, it's 30. And these magenta circles here, the pink circles, they indicate that the price is in oversold territory. Okay, now the third type of signals we get with this indicator are these arrows here, the blue and red arrows, and they indicate divergences that are happening between the price and the oscillator. Okay, so the blue arrows indicate bullish divergence, and the red arrows indicate bearish divergence. Okay, so you could use this indicator to show you all the different info that would be otherwise on different oscillators, all on the chart. So you see where the price is overbought, you see when there's divergences, when the trend is bearish or bullish, and you see all this information right there in front of you, and you could use it to trade however you are trading as an addition to your strategy. You could add perhaps support and resistance lines, and whenever there's divergence, like here, okay, we have resistance line here, and then we see there's divergence happening, and we know that the trend is downwards, so we might enter a short trade and so on. But there's also another way to use the Tangram indicator. Besides using it as it is with your own trading style and strategies, you could create your own custom strategies with this indicator. And I'll show you how to do this. It's all done with this dashboard here. So you see, we have this white bar, and if you click on this arrow, you'll get this dashboard. Now, the dashboard's empty now, but I'm going to show you how to use it to create your own strategy. Okay, well, first we start by enabling the show trades function here. When we click this, we allow the indicator to give us entry signals, okay? But it's up to you to decide what these entry signals are. And we have several options, and I'm going to show you how to play around with these options to get the best strategy based on the Tangram indicator. So we have 3 different types of entries. Entries that are from divergences, entries from color change, the color change of bars color, and an exit from oversold and overbought areas entries. I'm going to show you how they work. So first I'm going to enable the divergences entries. Okay. Here we go. So you see, whenever there's a divergence, we get a entry signal 2 candles after the divergence, because we only get divergence signals when the divergence is confirmed, and we need 2 candles for it to be confirmed, so that there's a fractal. So you see here, divergence, we get a sell signal. Another divergence, we get another sell signal. Now, show you some more. Here's a divergence that happened here. 2 candles after that, we get a buy signal, and so on. Now, we have the color change entry signal. I'm going to show you how this works. So, okay, you see here, we get a red bar after green bars. We get a sell signal after that. And then we go back to green, and therefore we get a buy signal. Same thing happens here, green bar, buy signal. If we go back here, first time we get a color change, we get a sell signal. Before that, it was a buy signal after this green bar. But you could refine all of these. I'm just showing you now, and then we'll go over refining these signals. So the third type of entries are the overbought and oversold entries. And we get these signals when the price exits oversold or overbought areas. So you see here, we were in oversold area, we exited, and at the close of this candle, which is the open of this candle, we get a buy signal. Now, as you see, we're going against the trend here, and we could actually filter out these signals with this color filter. The color filter means that we only go with the color of the bars. So we would never go in a long trade when we have red bars. So you see all of these were filtered out, and we look to find where we could see an entry. Let's add all of our entry signals. Okay, so you see here, we're only entering with the trend. We have a divergence, a bullish divergence here, so we get a buy signal after it. Same here, same here, same here, but we don't get any sell signals after these divergences because we're on green bars. Same here, overbought, we exited overbought here and here, but we don't get sell signals because we're on green bars. So now the most interesting part of the dashboard here is this upper area where you can see the results of the strategy you are choosing. So you could see the profit being made, the number of trades and the wins, and you get the winning percentage. And you get the profit factor, which anyone who has used the strategy tester knows what it is. But in case you haven't, it's gross profit over gross loss. So every profit that has been made over every loss that has been made. And finally, you get the maximum drawdown, which is a balanced drawdown, not an equity drawdown. But that helps you make decisions on which is the best strategy to use. Okay, so you see here we have 0 pips in profit. We have a profit factor of 1. And we're going to try to play around with the settings to find the best strategy. Okay, so we could choose exits. We have divergence exit, which exits a signal when there's an opposite divergence happening. If we're in a long trade and then we have a bearish signal, we would exit then. As you see here, it changed. We have 3 long signals and then there's a divergence here, so we exited. If we hadn't enabled that exit, let's see where this goes. You see, these would have resulted in losses. So we're gonna trigger this. It has raised our profit and also our profit factor and reduced our drawdown. Let's see the color change exit. Okay, this was not very helpful. It made us lose 500 pips and the profit factor is down. So we're gonna remove this later, but I'm just gonna enable everything now and then try to tweak to get our best settings. Okay, the overbought oversold exit didn't change a lot, so we're gonna keep it for now. We're gonna try to play around with the stop loss. I'm gonna set the stop loss at 10 to reduce risk. Okay, so maybe 20 is because it's too close. Or 30. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at 30 and try to play around with the take profit. Okay, let's try which entries are the best. So let's remove the oversold overbought. See what kind of. Okay, so apparently we're not getting so much because when we have color filter on and overbought oversold, it's very rare that we get a signal because mostly overbought areas happen in an uptrend, and then with the color filter on, we won't get a down a sell signal. So I'm gonna try to remove this. Okay, put this back on. I'm gonna try to do this quickly. Just you look in this area and we'll see which entries are the best. Okay, here we are. So what happened is I removed all the technical exits and I have a stop loss of 30 and a take profit of 80 with an entrance on color change mainly. So this is the most beneficial strategy. As you see, we have 2,340 pips in profit, 700 pips in drawdown, and the profit factor is 1.3. And you could go ahead and look at the trades, the signals that we got previously. Okay, so here's a long trade. It was given at the open of this candle, and it's not repainting, by the way. So once you get the signal here, you just enter at the open of the candle and it doesn't go away. And we have the take profit here, which you could set. Like suppose you were trading in real time and you get this signal here, you could set your stop loss on this small dash, red dash here, and your take profit here. And take profit was hit, as you see, with this dotted line. It goes from the open of the trade to the closing of the trade, and this trade was in profit. So was this trade. Okay. Okay, and a very important note, because I've seen other indicators who include these kind of results, and they don't incorporate the spread, which is a very important measure because the spread could actually make or break a strategy. So in the settings here, you could actually set your spread, which I have it at 15 points here, which is, I think, an average spread. Okay, so after you have your strategy, you could just wait for new signals. You could toggle this here so you could get alerted when there's a new signal. You could also have alerts whenever the price is in overbought or oversold area, alerts when the color changes, and alerts whenever there's a divergence. Okay, and you could hide the dashboard anytime you like and then open it, and everything would be the same. It will only change if you change your chart. So if you change the time frame of the chart, or if you go to a different currency pair, this would be reset. Otherwise, it would stay the same if you close it or open it. You could also drag the dashboard by dragging this small cross here, or even drag the bar. But please keep in mind that all the display aspects, like the dashboard and the bar and so on, they only function when you're online, so you're not offline, and when the markets are open. Because when you change these settings here through the dashboard, they get updated when there's a tick, like a tick in the market. But when the markets are offline or you are offline, there's no ticks, so this won't change anything. So you won't be able to use the dashboard, but you could always set your strategy using the settings, which we are gonna go through now. Okay, so here are the settings of the indicator. Let's start by going through each category. So the first category is the main settings, which are two settings. One is the period, and this is the period of the compounded oscillator. So the default setting is 60, but you could set it anything you like. I'm gonna just change it and see how it changes the price. You see, this is longer, and you could get longer trends, because you could also set it shorter and catch smaller trends, as you see here. Okay, as for the overbought level, as I said earlier, it indicates the level over which you would consider the oscillator to be overbought. So you could set it at 60, 70, 80, 90, anything between 50 and 100. And the oversold would be the symmetric equivalent of it beneath 50. So if it's 70, the oversold level would be 30, and so on. Now, the entries category. This is the same as we saw on the dashboard, except it's you would be setting it for good. So if you set to show entries with a divergence divergence entry, and then overbought, oversold entry with the color filter, we'll keep the color change false, and we press OK. You see, we have these settings here, and we could already see the entries. Now, the exits also. Stop loss, let's set it at 30 again. 120. Take profit. Let's exit at divergences. Keep these false. Press OK, and everything changed. So just a quick reminder. You get blue arrows for long entries, pink arrows for short entries. And whenever the trade would have been closed, you get a line which is drawn from the open to the closing of the trade, and a small dot at the end of it. If it's green, it means the trade was in profit. If it's red, like here, it means that the trade was a loss, because we got a short trade here, it didn't close, then it hit stop loss, and it's a loss. So is this one. Okay. Back to the settings. Okay, the backtest category. So this has to do with the results we see on the dashboard. The spread we already saw. It's the spread that is taken into account when calculating the profit. If you set it to 0, you would be calculating according to the current spread. Then there's the backtesting start date. This is the date from which you want the indicator to start tracking the entries, for the results on the dashboard. When you see that there's a 2000 pip profit and so on, it's from the beginning of this start date. Now, the default date is the oldest date on MT4, which is 1970, but when you have it on this default setting, it goes back to the oldest date on your chart. And here it's October 2018. Okay, if you wanted to start tracking from anywhere nearer, you would just change it to, let's say, 1 January 2019. Okay, or maybe you could February. And then you would get different results. And you see here results since 1st of February 2019. Now, if you also set it to a date which is older than your oldest chart date, so let's say we put it to February 2017, which is older than what we could go back to here, we still get October 2018, which is this date here. Okay, back to the settings. Where are we? Okay, alerts. So you could get alerts for entries whenever, if first you have to have enabled the show entries. And if you have the show entries enabled, you could get alerts for entries. Otherwise, or not otherwise, also, you could get alerts for divergences. Whenever there's a divergence on the chart, you would get an alert. Also, whenever the color changes, you could get an alert, but you have to set it to true, of course, all of these. And whenever the price is in overbought or oversold areas. Now, the types of alerts you could set here. You could get a pop-up message on MT4. You could also play a sound. You could get an email alert and a push notification alert. But to get email and push notification alert, you have to have these set up on MT4. Okay, I could show you how quickly now. You just have to go to options, notifications, and email, and just put the settings here. I did this by clicking Control O, but you could go to Tools, Options, and you will see here notifications and emails. Set them up and then enable these alerts here, and you could get the email and push notification alerts. Okay, last part of the settings are the visuals, and these are quite self-explanatory. You could change the colors of the indicator. So these here, you could change the colors of the bars, divergences, and overbought, oversold signals. As for here, this is for the dashboard. So it's by default set to false, but suppose you're offline or during the weekend and you want to test out some strategies, I would set it to true. So you just click OK here, and you could already see the dashboard. Because if you're offline and you click on this arrow, nothing would open. Because as I said, when you're offline or the market's closed, you can't really mess around with the displays because they don't get updated. That's just how MT4 works. Okay, the rest of the settings are just dashboard color, font of the dashboard color, and the dashboard font and size and so on. So yep, that's it. So I hope you could find this indicator beneficial, because I really do. And as you can see here, the results you get are mainly as realistic as they could be. But I also take a more of a pessimistic approach. So suppose both stop loss and take profit were hit on the same candle, the indicator would consider it as a loss for the calculations here, while actually if you were trading it in real life, you could have made a profit out of it. So these are not here to just promise good results. They actually try to reflect real good results. But you would have to find the best strategy according to your customizations. And a strategy that you might find good on the Aussie, you might find not to be profitable on the EURUSD, but you could play around a bit and you just find the best results. Now, for whoever buys the indicator, and if you leave an honest review on the MQL5 market as a thank you, I will send you an optimizer, a free optimizer for the Tangram indicator. So this optimizer, you just choose one of these measures that you want to maximize, and then the optimizer tries to find the best combination of settings for to maximize that measure. So suppose you optimize it for the best profit factor, you set the date, and then the optimizer would just find the best the settings which give you the highest profit factor. So whenever you buy the indicator, leave a review, you send me, my email is on the description of the indicator on MQL5. You just send me an email with your proof of purchase and the review, and I'll send you the optimizer straight away. And if you have any questions about the indicator or any technical issues, you just email me also on that email, or you message me on MQL5, and I'll be happy to help. And I wish you happy trading, and see you later.